I don't think we really got the gravity of the situation until we pulled into town, and we pulled into a gas station, and you could look right across that Highway 63. And that's when we saw all the vehicles inching their way along so slowly, and on the other side of them was this wall of flames. It all just escalated so quickly. I can remember that we had to keep moving because we'd find a position where we thought we were safe, and all of a sudden the fire was getting closer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We'd set up, and there was the fire behind us, and we wanted to make sure we showed people what was actually going on. And there was the fire behind us, but by the time we finished that hit, there were 2 others that were much closer to us. It was terrifying. By the end of the hit, I didn't even know if I'd be able to finish it because the smoke was just, it was just suffocating.
We should go.
Okay.
We decided, well, we'll go to the evacuation center, which is right downtown, and talk to some people who have been told to evacuate to this place.
This is the list of neighborhoods that are under a mandatory evacuation order. So that is Gregoire, Beacon Hill.
Then that evacuation center was evacuated itself.
What do you make of the safety of this location right now?
Until we get the order to evacuate, we feel safe here.
The instruction at that time from officials was that anyone north of Confederation had to go north. We only had so much fuel in our car, so that's when we realized if this fire continues to progress from the south to the north, we're hooped. 25,000 people were in a similar situation to what we were in.
People were confused as to what to do. I mean, there was so much smoke and so much fire. People were trying to fill up their cars with gas. There was no fuel. Some people were walking down the road with luggage. It was very chaotic.
Nobody knows what to do, so we're gonna just head south as much as we can. Follow everybody else, I guess.
Call 310-0000.
Oh my God, Sarah, this is gonna burn down.
Babe,
Oh, you can feel the heat.
Zoomed in.
Holy shit.
Now, when you see these images, I mean, you see the house on fire or the street burned out, and I'm not sure that there's been a way to properly illustrate just how big of a disaster this is.
The pictures totally miss the scale. Like, if you look at this behind me, you can see the smoke and you'll see fire, but it's just one side of it. It's also happening over there and behind the camera. That's the real hard part about telling this story, because it's just so big and it's so spread out that it's hard to really get it all into one scene. I think I realized the impact of this going up the highway, basically being one of the few cars traveling north while so many others were traveling south trying to get away from this. When we were driving up, literally for kilometers and kilometers, cars were bumper to bumper. When I saw how many people this was affecting, I really realized that this was going to be a major, major incident.
When we got to Lac La Biche and we saw the community center that had been transformed into an evacuation center and saw all the piles of clothing and the water and the food and the kids' toys and the books that had been donated, this was stuff that they badly needed. I think one of the hardest things is talking to people who've lost everything. I mean, what do you say to someone who's lost their home, who's lost all of their pictures, all of their photos, everything that kind of meant stuff to them? There's no words that you can use, and at times it almost feels like you're invading their grief. The really, really tough thing about forest fires is that they go on and on and on, and that's not just the flames. That gets put out. The days turn into weeks, turn into months, and this could very well be a very, very long, difficult ordeal.
And what happens as the days pass and people are away from this community for longer?
It's a unique city. A lot of people are connected to other places because they come from other places. People that we've spoken to, there have been There have been hard times in Fort McMurray leading up to this with problems in the oil industry. So it'll be interesting to see if people that were perhaps having trouble with their employment, that have now lost their place to live, will they come back? Will they rebuild? It'll be interesting to see how people respond over the long term as people look to put their lives back together. Then also in the broader picture, how do we prepare better for something like this, if it's even possible to prepare for something like this when it happens on this kind of scale?